YouTube, check it. I got a video that you're gonna wanna watch and skip through. Me training one of my clients. Enjoy. I'm not farting, it's the chair. Let's get to this video. So later on I'll fix all this later, but like for right now, we went from the day one, but she didn't even want to be here. Right. She had that hair up her butt, she didn't want to be here. So I'm letting her jump on me at this moment, just so we can build rapport, and the dog will actually like me. Because I can't ever get to a position where I'm going to correct this dog, and then like if we don't have rapport and I correct her, she's going to hate me even more, and I won't be able to train her. So this behavior that we don't want, I have to allow it so that I can become friends with her, we can become buddies, then later I will correct her. It's a baby. Okay. And see how she gets kind of weird if I correct her, it messes up her whole state. No. That's why I can't correct her. I have to allow it later on to become friends, and then later on I can correct her. But like I was saying before, your dog has a foundation where she does all of her basic stuff on leash, right? She does sit, she does stay, she does down, she recalls, and she does everything on leash. So our next step to progress that, what I like to use, is a 15-foot leash right here. Because we want to be able to start to extend the distance that we have the dog near us. So if we have her at 15 feet, then we later on progress to 20 and then progress to off leash. So everything within the scope of dog training is done through baby steps. The actual technical term for that is called successive approximation. It's where you take baby steps to get to the end result. If you want to train a dog something crazy, have you ever seen dogs that fetch lobsters and go all the way down, they jump off the boat, grab a lobster out of the water, and then come back up and drink their own? You don't start just teaching a dog to fetch lobsters. You have to put a toy on the first step of the pool. Then the dog sticks its nose under 2 inches of water. Then you go to the third step. Then you go to 3 feet. Now you've got 6 feet. Dog's diving, right? That process is taking baby steps. So we're going to take what you've built, which is on-leash obedience, and we're going to start to progress it on this 15-foot lead. So this is like a $7 leash on Amazon. I'll probably give it to you guys. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have you clip her up because you're the handler on lead. And then sit. Yes. Good. So we're going to clip her up and we're going to operate I'm going to make it more professional. You can rock this like this, okay, if you want. That's how I usually do it, take them out of the way. So you got your 6-foot leash in case you ever need to go for it. So, cool. So, and if that gets in the way or something, you can feel like. When we have the 15-foot leash, it's cumbersome, and it's going to take a skill that's called leash manipulation, which is moving your leash around and being aware of where it's at. This is a crucial skill that explosive dog handlers have to learn is their leash manipulation. Being able to run it in their hands like that is perfect. Okay, so what we want her to do let's start with the recall, right? I would say the recall is probably the most important command a dog can have. Because a dog that doesn't listen and doesn't come back to you is in danger. It can get run over, anything can happen. So we work on recall. And when you work on recall, all you do is you allow the dog to get distracted while you stay in one spot and you let her go. But you hold the end of the leash. When she gets to the end of the leash, you're going to give her the recall command, which is for you to either come or here. I'm not sure which one you use. So you give her that leash. And then you apply a little bit of leash pressure, which is, just like to get her attention. So you say, come, and then she should come back. If she doesn't, then you pull her back in. The whole purpose of the drill is to get her to the end of the leash and you recall drills. When she comes back to you, you have to give her a recall. Here. Great. Yes. Good. Okay. So this is the whole purpose. The drill is let her get distracted, go to the end of the leash, not hard. Good. Yes. Good. Yes. Okay. So simple. That's how you work on long distance recalls. We can literally get a 50-foot line do this, let her go 50 feet away and work on that distance of condition. Here, call from distance. Here. And if she doesn't listen, it's totally a video that's at a top. Yes. Next lesson. So, I think it's like day 3 of dog training course. They teach us our voice is the most important thing with training dogs. The reason being is they don't understand English. Whether some dogs are so intelligent that they can maybe understand a couple string of words, but the point is debatably they don't understand human language. What they do understand is the voice inflection that you produce. So what they would do for us is they would literally not give us a dog, they would give us an ammo can, or they would give us a stuffed animal, and we had to lose our pride. And what we literally had to do was practice our praise voice, our command voice, and our correction voice. It's just 3 different ways that we influx our voice. So the reason it's important is because if, let's say, I'm telling her to come and she comes back and I'm just monotone, that's like giving her a $1 bill. If you give a high praise and you're like, good girl! You see how her tail back when I did that? Then that's like giving her a $20 bill. So I would rather be taking 20s than taking 1s. So they would make us stand there, and debatably if that was hazing, that's what we had to deal with. You know, you went to the academy to review. We had to stand there and give a Mickey Mouse voice over and over and over. I'm not going to say you have to do that, but if you want to be able to get your dog trained to go to the next level, you create a praise voice, you create a command voice, you create a correction voice. Perfect. So if that's what you muster up on your praise voice, that's it. By all means, cool. Something is better than nothing. Here, so the command of any command, whether it be like sit, see how it's monotone, it's kind of like drill sergeant. Good, come, sit, good girl, and then my phrase change. If I don't like something she does, and I give her a correction, and she's being, an ass, I can go no, and you say, oh my god, right? And that came from. It's not like I'm mentally angry. I just up her up like a sergeant no. So
they consider that kind of like barking at her?
Yeah, right. So they don't understand language. They understand high pitch, which is yiping and being happy. They understand the loud, aggression or lower tone, which is a growl. That's all. That's a philosophy. That's what we understand. Change your voice, get better results out of your dog. When you do training sessions and we do this obedience game, if you're just standing in one spot, I know I told you that in the beginning, but we're going to start to move around and let her go to different areas, and we're going to come over here, let her run over there. The point is to try to be active and make obedience fun. The second that she senses you're bored, your dog is just not going to do the obedience session. So if the more boring you are, the more boring your session is, you're not getting nothing out of it. So the obedience sessions can literally become as physically exhausting as you make them. So, like you can be running around and eventually making a place and then bringing her over here and being lively. But if you were just like, place, good girl, it sucks. It's not fun for the dog. So the point is to make the obedience sessions super fun. If I'm going too fast or anything, have me back up. Okay. So I want you to move in different spots. Yeah, you can totally talk to her. But when you let her get distracted, you go distance away. Or I can start to call her, hey Dixie. Now give her a command of time. Here. Or here. Right. So the whole point was, you were doing something, I came in, I created a distraction, you got your dog's attention. You don't want to take your dog's attention, so you give her the command of here. And she came back. So that's the whole drill. And we're creating more than a 6-foot distance away from you. So we're starting to expand the distance of how, dog being off leash. The leash is just basically an insurance policy to make sure that dog listens to you. Because if we try to do this off leash and she decides to get a hair of her butt and says, I don't want to listen, we can't get her to come back. And then you're saying the command over and over again. If you say a command over and over again, then you're deconditioning the command. We don't want to decondition the command. If you say it once, she doesn't come, give her a correction, redirect her, and so it'll come back to you. So that's all it is. Okay. So she's going to start getting bored on this. You've got that down, she'll be able to do this, right? Perfect. So the next thing is to work on the place command. Luring is when I get your dog's attention. Place. Yes! Good girl. And did you hear how I went yes and did the high pitch? So some trainers train with a clicker, some trainers train with their voice. If you train with your voice, that's called clear signals training. We're having clear signals. The dog's understanding what I did. I gave a signal to lure her onto the platform. When she was on the platform, I marked it. Yes! And then I gave her her reward, which was a physical praise. Does that make sense? If I did it with a clicker, I would lure her over. She would sit. I would then click and give her her reward. The audible clicker, but I'm not going to carry a clicker. I'm going to do that crap, right? I got a voice, so I just say yes. You got to start training yourself that every time I got my dog to go to a place and she did it, mark it, right? I'm going to mark it in her brain and then say yes and then pay it off. Does that make sense? Yes. So, see you rock that. Place. Not luring. And I know that 15-foot leash is annoying, but it's a valuable skill to have. Place. So that was great. But the two difficulties that you'll run into is when you're teaching place is you, the human, the handler. You will end up being right here. Let's see if she'll look at me. Here. No, here. Good. So did you see how I gave the command? She didn't listen. I marked it with no. Gave her a correction at the same time. I marked it with no. Redirected her. Gave her the command again. And she came to me. What I didn't do was go here, 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 and keep saying the command. I gave a command. I gave a correction with both verbally and physically. And then I gave the command again. I didn't repeat the command twice. Here. Good. Good girls. Good girls. All right, come on. Place. No. Place. Good. Yay. Here. Place. No. Place. Good. Good girls. Place. No. You should. I got really excited. Yes. Good. And when she, I'm starting to increase my standard, and I know she knows how to do this now. When she jumped off, I marked it with no. Did you hear how I did that? Come, place, no, place, good. So just because I give you a no doesn't mean I hold a grudge. In literally 1 second, I could flip it and we're best friends again. So you don't, if the dog disciplines that, it's totally emotionless. I mark it with no, and then I give it a place. Good. Place. Good. Place. Go. Yeah. Place. Good. Place. Good. Sit. Good. Down. Good girl. So let her go. 3. No. Here. Good. No. Good girl. I'm going to take it down now. Now I know that I can get her super excited and happy. Here. Good. Place. No. Place. So I'm starting to increase the standard. You should have paid attention to my direction while I was pointing at this one, not that one. Place. Good. Sit. Good. Down. Good. Stay. Do you say stay or do you stay? The next skill I'm going to teach you is called reward dog in place. Good girl. What I didn't do was tell her to come to me to get the reward. If you're doing stay, I'm going to come back to you no matter how far back I go. So if I put her in stay and I walk a quarter mile away, say we advance her that far, I'm not telling her to come to me. I have to walk back to the dog to reward her. If I want to build the conditioning of her not breaking the stay. Does that make sense? So rewarding in place is really good. The next thing that I like to do to make a really good stay is, in the beginning we start to teach her that if I pull on this at all, that means come, right? So what I like to do with the place is actually the opposite. I like to give her a little bit of tension and keep telling her to stay. Because just because I'm moving the leash doesn't mean you break. make sense? So she's gonna break, but if she does break, when I'm doing this, so if I say stay, good. Did you see how I did that? Good. Doesn't matter what's happening. Like I may be tripping on a leash, that doesn't give you permission to move from your position. I told you to stay. So we're trying to bulletproof that stay. The next step to bulletproof a stay is to introduce distractions. So if I go stay, and I start playing with balls right here, and I come back and do a dog in place. Good, stay. Good, stay. Good. I'm gonna take a break for a second. I'll start to work again in a second. She's enjoying training today. Yeah. And remember, if she's not getting on something, if she's not getting up on something, it may not be her fault, it may be your fault because you're in the wrong position to encourage her to get on it.
Place. Good. Yes. Yes. Place. Stay.
So you're going to go to end of leash, and you got rewarded for here, but realistically for that place or for that stay, you should have came back and rewarded dog in place. So there's nothing negative that you did. You didn't really teach her to break it because you said here, which is the command. She came and got rewarded for here, but there was no reward for the stay. Or you didn't build stay in that. You just conditioned here. Does that make sense?
Now is good or bad?
It's good. I mean, it's fine. But if you want to work on stay, you have to come back to reward the dog.
Gotcha.
Understand that.
That's just me not paying attention to what I'm doing.
Yep, and that's 80% of the game. There's knowing what hand knowing what they're doing.
Yes. Yes. Place.
Reward.
Yes.
Positive. So did you see how she was timid, ears back, shy, didn't want to get up on an elevated platform? You have to celebrate that victory tremendously with your voice and with your everything. So you can come back and repeat it. Get her to go back up it again. Come right back up it.
Place. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. And you can go mix it up and then come back and throw that back in again.
Place. Yes.
Make her down on there.
Yeah.
Lure.
Yeah. Yes.
So, do you do hand signals?
I do out of habit. I don't
Cool.
necessarily.
Hand signals are super important when you're training because when we were doing luring, when you go like this is a hand signal for sit because I lured up like that. So it just makes sense that would be the hand signal for sit. When we lure, see, and that's how a dog sits. So this is a perfect hand signal. It's like raising your hand as an elevator. When you do down, let me show you. I'm going to show you down, and that's the next step because I think you're ready for it. When we're luring, I went like that, right? Sit, down, no, down. Good! So happy. So hand signals are awesome because the more forms of communication that we have with an animal, the better it is because we don't understand English, right? So if I was to say, come, you got an audio command, you got a visual hand signal command, and your brain can process that much better because you have multiple forms of communication. That's all I want to show you. So if I lure, I go ahead and sit, good, down, good. You see how this clear signal training is just like exercise. Sit, good, good, down, good. If I do like this, Dixie, come, sit, come, sit. And you see, so you start to drive her with these hand signals. Hand signals aren't going to work if the dog's not looking at you, so you got to have her attention to do a hand signal. If you're doing hand signals and the dog's facing away from you, it's kind of called. It doesn't make any sense. So I'll do it when she's looking at me. So if I get her attention, you're luring, moving out there. Hey, come. Sit. Good. Come. Sit. Come. No. Come. Sit. Down. Ooh. So I gave her a correction, told her that she needed to know not to run off like that. Yeah, so she's too excited, I'm going to bring her back to baseline by giving her a correction.
I've never done it with no talking. I'm surprised she picked it up for
Super smart. And they picked up as a lure. The hand signal is a lure. Good. So in order to get her work now, I have to calm her down. She's too excited. Good. Yes! Good. Good. Good, yes! Woo! How nice is that too, to go in public and just like, I told my dog what to do. What am I doing? I'm in 30 minute break. If she breaks, I'm going to put her back in the original position. Her bottom place. Yes! Cool! Cool? Monkey see, monkey do.
That was the first time she'd ever done that before. Well, I mean, I never have just given her complete hand signals. I never said anything to her at first.
Your turn. Monkey see, monkey do. Hey.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, what we have to do is be consistent with the hand signals. So if we're going to point and do it, that's what it is every single time. I always kind of have a knife hand. You know how your sergeant comes up knife hand. I was like that. But if you're going to do it this way, then I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it this way. So we just have to be. You and I have to be sitting on the same picture. Okay. On the identical hand signals.
Gotcha. Dixie.
So, to correct a stay, if she moved an inch, what I would have done is I just would have got her like this. You correct her, put her back, stay. It's like a stay. And now she's going to do it fine. Like that, and then that way. Okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you and I are going to do hand signals together, right? So you're going to give me the hand signals. So if you want me to sit, here you go. Okay? I'm sat. I go down. Sat. Okay, I'm staying. And that's it. So it's going to come down to you to learn your muscle memory of working with dog and doing your commands. So this is, if we're walking, sit, down, come. You just have to practice that. So it's not the dog's fault. It's basically you're getting used to driving commands with your hands and stuff. So if she broke, you would say no, bring her back, put her exactly the way she was. Sit, stay. So don't be afraid to sit the condition at the same time with both. So she's just getting a little mixed up, is all it is. So I would say do it with no voice because of how proficient I am at delivering and being clear with it. So for you doing it, and her ability and learning with you,
I'm kind of going like this to her.
Yes, exactly. So I want you to practice saying and doing at the same time, because that's gonna build it in your mind. So if I go like this, I go, stay, come, sit, down. Does that make sense? Because now it's making sense. I'm teaching myself that this is the command. This is the command. This is the command. Sit. Good. And yeah, I don't want to give you any more information. That's it. So, and she's starting to get bored. Come. The training session starting to get dry. Sit. No. So that was a form of like, I'm done, I'm bored. I'm going to get her to do something, and I'm going to give her a lot of praise, and I'm going to call it like a session. Dixie, come. Woo! Yeah! Positive session, and positively, and we take a break. Yeah. Whew, she got smoked on that because that was new.
Good day.